It's Heels on Wheels, the racing show by female racers, for female racers, about female racers, featuring female racers, with a few surprises thrown in. Heels on Wheels is brought to you by Renew Salon and Spa, Excelsior Racing, and Dragonflies and Nymphs Creation. And now, here are your hosts.
Hey everyone, and thanks for joining us on the Heels on Wheels radio program, brought to you by the Performance Motorsports Network. We have some great guests lined up for tonight, but first, let's check in with our host, Miss Crystal Elise. What are you up to today?
Oh, a whole lot of nothing, actually. I get a week off, and then I get to go up north for a car party. So,
Car party?
I mean, after the American Muscle show that you and I went to the other day, how could I not relax?
I know, it was pretty exciting. I have to say, I got to meet Brett Wagner, a big fan of his, and he's been on our show before, so it was nice to get to meet him, and lots of cars, Mustang after Mustang after Mustang, but it was awesome, especially to hang out with Krista and finally get to meet Charlie.
I actually looked at the numbers, so they had over 3,000 cars in attendance, and they raised $35,000 for, I believe they were doing it towards cancer research this year, so it was a very successful show.
Yeah, it was very, very awesome. A lot of cool stuff, so I think they have some videos and stuff online, too, that you can check out, so go look at that. Miss Diana, what's happening in our social media world this week?
Well, we do have some new likes, and our numbers look great. Thank you guys for liking us and sharing us. Our posts have reached over 3,000 people, 2,900 likes from those Maple Grove Raceway pictures of Miss Crystal Elise and Taylor Hyatt.
Yeah, my funny face picture.
Taylor, you are priceless, girl.
It's the hot mamas there.
Okay, wait. I have to explain, because Krista decides, okay, let's take a selfie. Great. So I'm sitting there, and she clicks it once. I'm like, okay, we're done. She goes, click, 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 click. I'm like, what are you doing? That's the face.
Okay. Somebody just had to be educated at the track, out of all places, as to proper selfie taking procedure here. And I just wanted to be the one to do it.
I think I saw a piece of lettuce in one of Krista's teeth in one of those shots, so I think it evens out, Taylor. It's fine. It's all good.
What else?
Okay. So what we want to do is shout out to a couple of our new people. We've got Jeremy Woods at Geico in Plano, which is actually not far from me, and then we have some guy who likes Frankenstein Mustangs. I guess he's from Monster Tattoo. He liked our page too, so shout out to you guys. We do have total, 1.5 different likes or individual clicks on our page, but we still need you guys to not just like our post, but like us in general and share us.
Please like us.
Yes, please like us, because we like you.
Nobody likes me.
Everyone likes you.
Accept that.
Aww, not true.
I think.
Let me cry about it. I'm gonna go cry about it.
No, but that's the latest and greatest on our Facebook page.
And I have to say, Dan Ramey has put some awesome pictures up there of some of the cars that he took pictures of last weekend, and also his Stang magazine. So check that out. And Krista and I may have a little surprise there in the next couple of weeks as well. So let's get right up into our guest lineup for tonight. Journalist, racer, reporter, and much, much more. Denise McCluggage is here to talk with us. I couldn't be more over the moon about this. We also have another great grilling recipe from Tailgate Grillin' with Sizzlin' Scotty. And on our racing roundtable tonight, we're talking about being or not being ladylike in the racing world. And I think you probably have a good idea of the three of us. Mm-hmm. But does it hurt you to act like a lady around all of these guys in the industry? Hear what we have to say later in the show. But for now, let's move right into our racing news. Krista, what do you have for us this week?
I really don't have a lot. We've been so busy, and I was watching NHRA this past weekend and was really excited because I got to catch a really good race between Courtney Force and Alexis DeJoria, and you really don't always see them face off. I mean, there aren't many women in NHRA, and, Alexis won that one out. That was all driver.
That's awesome.
I know I'm boring, but I mean, it's the little things that are exciting in drag racing.
Well, no, that's not little, and that's great. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Krista.
Well, you're welcome.
Okay, I saw that there was another accident though at the NHRA event in Brainerd. Is that a big accident again. Both cars were involved. Separately, they did not get hit together in the same accident, but separate accidents at the same time. And this is like the second or third week in a row that NHRA has had an accident like that. So we may be seeing...
I can actually offer some insight to that. I think I know what you're talking about. And, one thing that I did learn this past weekend watching NHRA, they've started explaining the dynamics to prepping the track. And they were having issues with transitioning from track prep, which has to be one way for top fuel drivers, and, track prep that has to be another way for, say, pro stock or funny car. It's just the way how long they lay the VHT down and stuff like that. And I think, I believe it was Gray Racing, Gray Motorsport were upset because they went sideways and had to let off and lost a race because of insufficient track prep for their type setup.
Yeah, and I think we saw a lot of that this weekend at Maple Grove. It took forever for them to get the track ready for just 2 cars to go down it. So, it's a lot of track prep, I think, too. But I think there will probably be some safety stuff going on there as well, because we're starting to see that with a lot of dirt tracks after the whole Tony Stewart incident. And IndyCar actually just came out and said that they are reviewing their safety laws and regulations as well because of that accident. So, Diana, what do you have for us this week? Diana?
Yes, absolutely. Speaking of IndyCar, Indy 500 winner Ryan Hunter-Reay just signed to extend his contract with Andretti Racing. And but Will Power is giving him a run for his money and is leading in points right now. So this should be a very interesting season. Also, some more good news in Indy is Sarah Fisher Racing and Ed Carpenter are going to be teaming up. They're going to be merging. If you remember a few years back, Ed used to race on the Fisher team, and now they've decided to join forces in a different way. And I'm really excited to see this very positive partnership take place. And then we've got one F1 story, but I think it's a good one. Simona De Silvestro is going to be on the September 2014 issue of F1 Racing Magazine. So make sure to pick up your issue because she looks damn cute. All right, that's it. That's what I got.
I saw that 16-year-old Max Verstappen, I think is how you say his last name, could be practicing this fall in F1. 16 years old. That's a little young to me, don't you girls think? I mean, F1, that's big stuff, and he's 16.
I gotta say, I have to jump in. I have mixed feelings. You see younger and younger drivers coming into NASCAR, and I think that at the end of the day, while 16 may be, a little bit young in the scheme of things, they're following suit, so you're going to see it more and more.
You may be right about that. I see a lot of it in the sports car realm. You see younger drivers and go-karts and stuff like that, but F1, that to me is just too big, too fast, too many experienced drivers with such a young, unexperienced driver.
Well, if Milka Dunno is going to be barging onto the scene in NASCAR, they might as well start using toddlers in other places that might have a little bit more skill.
At first it's me with Danica, and then it's Diana with Milka.
Yep.
What have we become?
Girls.
Well, I could say it, but it would only apply to me, not to you, of course.
So some
other news.
Some other F1 news. Nicholas Hamilton, who is the brother of Formula One champ Lewis Hamilton, will be the first disabled driver to compete in the British Touring Car Championship. And you don't see a lot of this in any type of racing. He has cerebral palsy, which it's a horrible disease, but it's not as bad as they kind of make it out like it is, a disabled driver being in this type of racing. But, good for him, good that he's stepping out there, and good thing that they're getting him in there and allowing him to do that, I guess. Also, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Jimmy Johnson and Ryan Newman got a little heated after the race in Michigan. I guess Ryan Newman came over to Jimmy Johnson and got in his face, and one thing led to another, and Jimmy Johnson basically said, well, if you could go faster, this wouldn't be an issue. I mean, I haven't seen a fight not a fight, an argument like that in quite a while in NASCAR.
Well, let me Good question. We see the F1 guys getting into it, so do you think it's odd that NASCAR is getting into it?
I wouldn't deny that at all. I mean, I guess you have to keep up with the ratings, and if that's what makes that happen, good for them, I guess. But it is crunch time for Sprint Cup, and, they're racing into the last few races before the chase, and with all the different chase rules this year, I think the drivers are probably really on end about this and just trying to get into the chase. I don't know. I haven't really kept up with NASCAR this year very much, just for the reason of I can't stand Danica. So, in other news, a 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO sells for $34 million, which set a brand new world record. $34 million. Are you kidding me?
Well, no offense, but at least it's a Ferrari. It's some coveted vehicle, a classic, and not a Honda Civic or a Camaro with the gun rack on the back. I mean, in all honesty, to car collectors, they're like collectors of art, and you really have to appreciate that.
I just don't know if I could spend $34 million on a car.
Well, I mean, if they got the money, then to them it's a drop in the bucket, sister.
All right, upcoming this week, F1 is in Belgium, IndyCar in Sonoma. Pirelli World Challenge is also in Sonoma, and they are down to their last final 3 races, 2 more each for each sanction, the GT and then the TCB and TC cars. So they're getting into the finals. There's a lot of great racing. Shea Holbrook is first or second in her class. So if you want to keep up with that, listen to Over the Wall Inside Pirelli World Challenge with Gene Kinzerdana. Also, World Rally in Dutchland and the United Sports Car Championship is at VIR. NASCAR, all 3 of them will be at Bristol this week. Next week, NHRA is in Indianapolis, Pirelli World Challenge at Brainerd International Raceway, IndyCar in Fontana, and NASCAR will be in Atlanta, and the Truck Series will be at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Locally here, NASA Championship will be in Road Atlanta, and the SCCA Mars Labor Day Double is that weekend. It's a big charity event, so if you are looking for something to do that weekend, there's a lot of great racing, some of the best on the East Coast, and it's all for charity. So come out, come see us. I will be there. Bob from Performance Motorsports will be there. It's going to be good. And like I said, charity. Lots of charity stuff going on, lots of events. But that is all the racing news we have for this week. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
In the race of everyday life, it's nice to have the green flag. But drivetrain problems are the pits. A fully remanufactured engine, transmission, or differential from Jasper Engines and Transmissions costs less than a new vehicle and comes with a 3-year, 100,000-mile nationwide transferable warranty. See JasperEngines.com for details and get the green flag in your race of everyday life.
See the boys at Chandler & Sons Automotive, 45977 Old Ox Road in Sterling. Give them a call, 703-437-7300.
On the air, you may know me as the man about motorsports. Actually, I've been the man about insurance for over 30 years. With one call, I can cover your life, health, auto, home, and business insurance. Recently, I saved a young couple over $500 on their annual car insurance bill. No gimmicks and no green lizard. So if you think your insurer is really your good neighbor who is on your side because he is holding your money in his good hands, think again. Call me, 703-631-8000. I have dozens of insurance companies waiting to give you the protection you need and deserve. It may take more than 15 minutes, but you'll receive sound advice, quality professional service, and an honest opinion. That number again, 703-631-8000. As for Larry O.
Ginger Williams Chevrolet Buick GMC is your Lexington, Kentucky and Corbin Chevy Buick and GMC authority. From pre-owned to the newest models, Ginger Williams is the only place to shop in the Lexington area. Check out their website for your next new or pre-owned vehicle, www.tincherwilliamschevrolet.com. All of the full-line inventory of in-stock and on-order Buicks, GMC trucks, and Chevrolets are right there online. Plus, you can check out what's hot at Tincher Williams on the homepage. Schedule your service appointment. Browse the inventory. Look for Tincher Williams specials. Check out your financing options. See what GM incentives are being offered for your vehicle. You can even shop for new tires at their convenient online tire store and get directions from wherever you are right there. It's all online at www.tincherwilliamschevrolet.com. That's Tincher Williams Chevrolet Buick GMC, located in London, Kentucky. Your Lexington and Corbin Chevy Buick and GMC authority.
You're listening to Heels on Wheels exclusively on the PerformanceMotorsportsNetwork.com.
Now back to the fastest women on the planet.
And we're back with Heels on Wheels on the Performance Motorsports Network. I have with me journalist, race car driver, sports reporter, photographer, and so much more. I can't even explain all of the things that this woman has accomplished. But Denise McCluggage is here with us to tell us a little bit about her story. How are you today, Denise?
I'm doing pretty well. Just got back from Pebble Beach.
Wow, that sounds exciting. I know a lot of good stuff goes on there. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started in motorsports?
Well, that's sort of my life history. How much time do you have?
As much as you need.
Well, I just started. That was it. I just went racing. It was a very different time then. It was a sport and not a business, and so it was relatively easy to get started. You just drove your car to the racetrack and put numbers on it and went racing.
When you would go to the track, were you welcomed by the male racers as well as, the other females at the track?
There were very few females racing at that time. Not many doing it now, for that matter, considering the number of people who are racing. But it was at a level of, if you wanted to do it, you could do it. That was it. People were accepted. It was more like deciding to go skiing on a weekend and go skiing, You didn't really care whether people welcomed you to the chairlift line or not. If people were all doing it, and you did it.
Denise, you started racing, was it in the 50s?
Yeah, it was in the 50s.
In the 50s, and was it round track?
I was doing sports car racing, road racing.
And, what kind of cars were you driving back then? Because
my first race car was a Jaguar, and I got offered other people's cars and things. I raced Porsches and Oscar and almost anything. It was just anybody had a car that they wanted me to drive, I drove it. People that were racing, there were all sorts of races. There would be the Sports Car Club of America, the SCCA, would sponsor these races, and there would be different races for different cars. And so you raced in as many as you could.
You're definitely a pioneer with females in motorsports, and to have you on tonight, we're really glad that you are here with us tonight. Have you noticed that it's changed for females in the race world?
Well, there are the sport itself has changed so much because it's now at a professional level, and people go racing for the entire season. We used to race just on weekends we chose to race on, and now everybody races. It's a commitment to a season, and there are a lot more professional attitudes toward it, and 5-year-olds are making career decisions. It's amazing because people starting very early, and there's a livelihood to be made out of it, and that just wasn't true before. You spent money doing it. You didn't get paid to do it, and it's changed a great deal. And one reason that it's changed for women is Lynn St. James, who has a program devoted to helping women in racing, and it's remarkable. It's wonderful. A lot of young women, young girls start racing early in races of all kinds, and it's from sprint races to sports cars to open wheel to whatever. And her program helps them. It's really terrific. It's organization, and that's something that didn't exist before.
Denise, being a very big Mustang fan, what was it like being able to drive with Steve McQueen?
Steve McQueen was a friend of mine. I met him in the village when we both had MGTCs, and so we had racing and cars as something that magnified our friendship. You know, we were car nuts. He was on his way to Hollywood then to become a big star, which was terrific. But he wasn't at that time. He was just a guy with a cream-colored TC.
That's awesome that you had, these great relationships with people that we have come to know as kind of celebrities in the automotive world. I want to talk about your trademark accessory here, which was your white helmet with black dots. Can you tell us how you came up with that and why it was your trademark?
With the polka dots?
Yes.
Well, it was. I was racing in Nassau very early on, and there was a ladies' race which they used to have to give the wives and girlfriends of drivers a chance to drive a race. And I had a car lent to me, a Porsche, the first race. That was a first heat of the ladies' race. And then I won that. And then the second heat came up a few races later. And for some reason, the guy didn't want to lend me his car for that race. So someone else did. And it was an Oscar, which is totally different from a Porsche. The engine in different places. I'd never driven either one of them for that matter, but I promptly went out and spun the thing because it was a front-engine car. It was different. And someone took a picture of her, it ran in a magazine, and Jim Kimberly was the guy who lent me the Oscar, and they identified the driver of the car that had spun as Jim Kimberly, and I thought, that's not fair. It was me. I was driving it. So I decided to put polka dots on my helmet so I could get credit for my own mistakes.
So I want to switch gears here real fast and ask you, what was it like transitioning into automotive journalism? What got you interested in that?
Well, I was a journalist, and I happened to write about things that interested me or things that I did. And I did a different thing. I jumped out of airplanes, always with a parachute, mind you. I was no fool. But I wanted to know what these experiences were like, and I wanted to explain them to others. And that was my approach to writing about what I did. And it was just a thing I liked doing. And so I did a whole lot of different kind of things and wrote about them because I seemed to have a knack for explaining what it was like, and people enjoyed that. So that carried over. I was sort of their, surrogate, I guess.
How do you think that the growth of automotive media and journalism has changed to current day racing? What are the biggest things that you see that are different?
Well, there's so many of them, so many automotive journalists. In the days when I was writing about even Formula One, there were a handful of journalists. So we knew all of the drivers very well. There weren't press conferences because you just had dinner with the drivers, and that's how you got the information, or you talked to them in the pits. There were it just was simpler. And now there are a lot of journalists who write about racing who don't know the drivers. That's astonishing to me. But, they know who they are, and they maybe even know to speak to them, but they don't really know them. And So it was in a simpler time. I don't know how to explain it other than there were fewer of everything, so it was easier to get around.
Well, you're absolutely right. Journalism was a lot more personal back then, and today anybody can just throw anything up and call it news. So, I'm very glad that we have you here, because tonight on our roundtable, we're going to be talking about something, and I think you'll be able to give us some really good insights about. And it's pretty much about trackside manner for women racers. What do you think a woman should act like if she is into racing? Should she be ladylike? Is it possible to even be ladylike, or should she just be who she is, even if whether it offends people or not?
About women driving today, or any time, but particularly getting into racing, there are easier paths into it now as far as becoming a professional are concerned. And as I mentioned, Lynn St. James's program is one of the best. And I would suggest if women are interested in creating a career for themselves in racing, they don't necessarily have to drive. There are a lot of other things and there are women who are engineers, women who are crew chiefs, things like that. And being a professional and having a career in motor racing is quite possible today, because these jobs are available to people who are qualified. And if women want to do them, then they should make sure that they are qualified. They can study courses in school, in colleges, and so forth, and in special study groups they have, and learn about these things and get involved in racing.
So do you think that a woman that, dresses up nice when she goes to the track and, wears a lot of makeup and stuff like that, do you think that makes her look like not as good of a racer at the track in front of all the other male drivers? Or do you think it just really doesn't matter what you look like as long as you get in the car and race?
I have no idea, because people present themselves in certain ways, and if it's true to their personality and to what they perceive themselves to be, then they need to do that. What choice is it? Do you pretend you're somebody you're not? I don't understand why that should matter, but if it does, then it's a peculiar world indeed. I just think that being serious about something and good at it, you should be able to progress doing that. And that I almost think whether you're wearing makeup and high heels or not, incidentally, I do not approve of driving in high heels. But, wearing them is great, but you should have driving shoes for driving and keep them in the car.
Safety first, that's for sure.
Well, I hate to interrupt such an amazing interview we have going on here, but we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with Denise McCluggage right after this.
On the air, you may know me as the man about motorsports. Actually, I've been the man about insurance for over 30 years. With one call, I can cover your life, health, auto, home, and business insurance. Recently, I saved a young couple over $500 on their annual car insurance bill. No gimmicks and no green lizard. So if you think your insurer is really your good neighbor who is on your side because he is holding your money in his good hands, think again. Call me, 703-631-8000. I have dozens of insurance companies waiting to give you the protection you need and deserve. It may take more than 15 minutes, but you'll receive sound advice, quality professional service, and an honest opinion. That number again, 703-631-8000. Ask for Larry O.
Automotive enthusiast, have you modified your ride and want to see how much horsepower it'll put down? Look for bragging rights amongst your buddies, whether you're running big boost or a big block. RP Performance has your answer. Featuring a state-of-the-art two-wheel drive Dyno Dynamics chassis dyno, RP Performance can measure your current power or help tune your car for maximum power. And for you power junkies, want to drive a fully prepared race car flat out around one of the East Coast's finest road courses? RP Performance also offers race car rentals for all your track day events. Host your next corporate team building event with the need for speed. Gift certificates are available for dyno services and track car rental. RP Performance is located at Summit Point Raceway, just minutes from Winchester. Visit them online at rpperformanceracing.com or call 304-728-6749 for more information. RP Performance, your Mazda Street performance and racing specialist.
Did you know that birthday parties help build confidence in kids?
Yeah. Did you know that giving kids less sugar before bedtime helps them sleep better?
Oh, totally. Did you know that friendly kids have more friends?
Everybody knows that.
Hey, guys, did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
I didn't know that.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Heels on Wheels exclusively on the PerformanceMotorsportsNetwork.com. Now back to the fastest women on the planet.
And we're back with Denise McCluggage on Heels on Wheels radio program on the Performance Motorsports Network with myself, Taylor Hyatt, Krista Elise, and Diana Clausen.
So I have to ask, women's in motorsports are moving forward leaps and bounds. What do you think that the next big goal for any professional driver might be? Maybe, for example, Courtney Force or Alexis DeJoria. Where do you see the next big thing in racing with women?
I don't see anything because I don't know what's going to happen. I think that that for some reason, women have been more successful at more of them at high levels in drag racing. And a lot of that has to do with the family relationships, which is terrific because perhaps there's some genetic influence in going really, really fast in drag racing. I think it's terrific that fathers have encouraged their daughters to follow them in that line. I think that's wonderful. And it's terrific to see that talent expressed. And, of course, Shirley Muldowney started the whole thing quite a long time ago with her tremendous ability. And perhaps that's what drew them to drag racing. But it's just the luck of the draw in many ways, and many times, I think. But if you're interested, if some young woman is interested in pursuing a type of racing, she should work at it, learn about it, find out how to get at it, and do it, because you should follow your passions. That's it.
That's great, Denise. You've inspired a lot of women, including, and you've mentored a lot of female racers, including one of my mentors, Sue Mead. I think to see that you are still out and about is wonderful. What have you been up to lately?
I continue writing about cars, and I'm quite ready to race. Somebody offers me a car, I'll go at it. But I'm also involved in publishing some more of my books in as digital books for the Kindle, as well as print-on-demand books, and some of my older books, and including a ski book. And then we're doing, it's called Full Court Press, and we're doing, we did a book by Lou Bracken about his friend Jimmy Dean, and so it's a delightful book called My Friend Jimmy, and or Jimmy and Me, I think we finally ended up calling it, and that's available now on Kindle about James Dean's racing career and James Dean as a human being. And I've got a book that Sterling Moss wrote some years ago with Ken Purdy called All But My Life. And that'll be on the Kindle within probably 2 weeks on Amazon as an ebook. And then my book, by Brooks, Too Broad for Leaping, converting that to digital. And I've got 2 new books that I've collections of my columns and articles. And I'm still writing. I got to earn a living, so still at it.
So my grandfather actually got to meet you at a Mini Cooper convention in D.C. many years ago, and he had an autographed copy of your book, Brooks Too Wide for Leaping, and I haven't had the chance to read it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Can you give us a little bit of information about what that book is about?
It's a collection of my columns and observations about racing and driving, and it's there. Read it. That's the only way you can tell what it's about, really. And the others will be similar to that, in that they are our collection. People keep saying, "When are you going to do an autobiography?" And I just tell them I don't do fiction.
That's awesome. So I think Diana has a question for you here, and she wants to know, how many countries have you raced in, and what kind of awards have you won?
Oh gosh, I don't know. More than I deserve, I'm sure. I've got a lot of stuff, and it's all very nice, but the doing of the thing is, that's what I enjoyed. The awards came afterwards, and that's very, very good to be recognized, but the doing is what counts.
Speaking of doing, if there's one thing that you have wanted to do and have not gotten the opportunity yet, what would it be?
I'd like to learn 3 languages and learn how to carry a tune. Dozens of things. I don't think I started learning Chinese, but there's not that much time left. And I don't think I'll get through all of Dickens, but I reread a lot of Dickens. That's what I like. Charles Dickens, I like a lot. And I'm reading mostly, I'm going through now Cormac McCarthy, who I think is the greatest writer right now that I can think of. So I'm reading all of that he's written, and it so happens he lives in Santa Fe, and I even met him. So that's kind of nice.
So I want to kind of change directions here, because I think every person involved in motorsports comes from some other type of background, and a lot of our women we have on the show have played other sports or done other types of physical activity. And you, by the looks of it, were a very avid skier in your day. Can you tell us about that?
Physical activity, alas, is we're not very well designed to last, and my joints are giving out. I have somebody else's hip, or at least some metal pieces that are in one hip. The next hip is going to be done in October, and I have knee parts that in an X-ray they look like they were found on the battleground of a Civil War battle or something. But anyway, I'm trying to do something about the things that are breaking down. It's pretty damn disgusting, and I'll tell you, old age sucks. You can, I advise against it.
You have accomplished a lot, and you have taught me something that often I think racers lose sight of, is that, winning is well and fine, and it's the name of the game, but it's actually the doing things that, make the most difference and mean the most at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, don't get me wrong. Winning is keen, but that's not all of it. it's fun. I thought for a long time just participating, that's what counts. And then I started winning. I said, hey, wait a minute, this does add a whole different dimension. But nonetheless, I like doing stuff, trying it. I wrote a ski book as well as other books, the books on driving and racing. And I am also now teaching driving, which is kind of amusing. I do workshops on centered driving. My ski book was called The Centered Skier, and I like applying stuff I've learned from Daiji and studying Chinese and martial arts and Far Eastern philosophy to centering and doing athletic things or anything. There's something in that helps, and that's kind of fun to get people to discover things in themselves that they didn't realize were there.
So I think it's wonderful that you're still so involved in the motorsports world after, being in it for so long, and you still love what you do. Can you tell us what you were doing this past weekend at Pebble Beach?
I'm a judge at Pebble Beach at the Concours d'Elegance. I've been a judge there for about 22 years, I guess, and a judge at Amelia Island and at our wonderful Concorso here in Santa Fe, the Santa Fe Concorso, which will have our 5th year the last Sunday of September, and it's a charming, wonderful, delightful weekend of terrific cars and not a whole lot of crowds and craziness. You can get around, and which is nice. The big things are a lot of fun, but the little things you can actually enjoy.
Is there anything upcoming that your fans can see you doing?
Well, they might come watch my surgery. I guess that'd be... I don't know. I make speeches at car clubs every so often, so they can watch for that. But I have nothing coming up until the Concorso here in Santa Fe, and that's the last, as I said, the last Sunday of September, and I'll be wearing a hat with the fancy band and doing my judging act. I go around it. It's very difficult. As an honorary judge, what we have to do is draw close to the car and check our heart rate. Don't have to know anything. Just say, wow, that's a terrific car.
I'm here to tell you we have had a great time talking with you tonight, and we would be glad to have you back on the show anytime.
Terrific. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
I'm
being on.
Sorry, I forgot to wear earplugs when I was racing. I advise everybody to wear earplugs because, believe me, I thought, well, I want to hear the engine. Okay, you hear it then, but boy. Anyway, it's great talking to you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. This has been Taylor Hyatt, Krista Elise, and Diana Clausen here with Denise McCluggage. We'll be right back after a short break.
Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Jens Scott from Summit Point Kart in Summit Point, West Virginia. If you're looking for a real racing experience on a real racetrack, come out to Summit Point Kart this weekend. For as little as $25, you can get your racing career started. New this year, Summit Point Kart offers the RX 250, capable of over 75 miles an hour. We're open every Friday from 5 p.m. till 9 p.m., Saturday from noon till 10 p.m., and Sunday from noon till 9 p.m. For more information, go to our website, summitpointkartwithak.com, or you can call us at 304-725-5270. Summit Point Kart, your East Coast karting center.
Now it's time to shift gears. Here's Leonard from Cotman.
All shook up. More after this. Car problems? You can trust your local Cotman man. Cotman has a 40-year history as a leader in car repair and making happy, satisfied customers. Whatever's wrong with your car, SUV, or truck, Cotman will check it out free using state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment. Don't take chances with your car. Bring it to Cotman and let your local Cotman man show you why they are America's transmission and total auto care experts. Visit Cotman.com to download money-saving coupons. Cotman. Real service, real fast.
You ever notice when you're driving on the highway, after a high rate of speed, you just barely touch the brakes and the whole front of the car starts to shake? Doesn't necessarily mean that your front end is out of alignment. Cotman Transmission's Total Car Care also can inspect your brakes, your front end, and your wheel bearings. Cotman Transmissions in Manassas, Virginia offers a free 21-point check. It consists of road testing your vehicle, a thorough visual inspection, and an electronic scan of the computer system. This goes a long way. Come see us.
See Leonard and the fine folks at Cotman of Manassas, 9113 Mathis Avenue in Manassas. Give them a call at 703-365-7200.
You got it locked to Heels on Wheels, the Performance Motorsports Network.com, a member of the Scorpion Radio Group. Now back to the women wearing the driver's suits.
All right, and it's that time again in our show where Scotty cooks us up something delicious, and I hear he's got a twofer for us this week. So 2 recipes all in one 5-minute segment. Here we go. Let's go see what Scotty's got grilling for us this week.
Thanks, Taylor. This is Sizzlin' Scotty with another fantastic tailgate recipe. And, you know, football season's coming up, and everybody likes to do so many different things on the grill and in the tailgate. On the blacktop cooking is some of the best cooking in the United States. And up here in upstate New York or Western New York and Rochester, Buffalo area, we've got a great recipe for some what we call drunken shrimp. And I think that this will be a fan favorite, and you guys will definitely enjoy this. We're going to get right into this. And for the shrimp, we're going to need 2 bottles or can of your favorite beer. Anything will work. I would suggest a light beer or just a standard beer, not an IPA. Half a cup of cider vinegar, 2 cups of water, 2 tablespoons of Old Bay seasoning, 2 pounds of large shrimp, and we're going to keep those in the shell. And anywhere from 20 to 30 to 40 shrimp we're looking for here, in about 2 pounds. 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, 2 tablespoons of your favorite rub. And from there, we're going to also create a nice sauce to go with this. We're going to use 2 cups of your favorite barbecue sauce, 1 cup of prepared horseradish, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, the juice of 1/2 lime, the juice of 1/2 lemon, and 2 teaspoons of Tabasco sauce. Now let's whip this all together. We're going to pour the beer, the vinegar, and the water into a high-sided pan, or basically a nice pot. We're going to add the Old Bay seasoning, and we're going to cover that, and we're going to get the heat up, and we're going to get that onto a great boil. You can do this on a stovetop. You can do this on the grill if you'd like. When you get that up to a boil, you're going to drop the shrimp in, and you're cover that again, and you're going to cook it for about 2 minutes or until those shrimp turn pink and opaque. Could be 2 to 3 minutes, but don't keep peeking. Once you get that lid on there, give it about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we'll take them out. We're going to drain the shrimp into a colander, and we're going to cover with a layer of ice to chill them down so that we stop the cooking process. Mix in that ice, and then what we're going to do then is we're going to throw the shrimp into a bowl, and we're going to toss with the garlic and that seasoning that rub that you want. And these can be eaten slightly warm or chilled, your choice. But they're definitely something fantastic. There's nothing like sitting around and peeling some shrimp and really enjoying shrimp. That flavor is really going to get into that shrimp, and it's going to be great. And you'll have that extra little seasoning with the rub. Now, this sauce that we're going to have, all you're basically going to do, it's a basic cocktail sauce. So get yourself a bowl and throw all those ingredients in there. Mix it up good. Give it a little taste, because you always want to taste things before you serve them up. Serve them up, and people are going to absolutely love these. The next thing I'm going to give you today is a little side dish to go with these. And, I'm a big deviled egg fan, and I like to make some Cajun deviled eggs. So what we're going to do with these is we're going to take 12 large eggs, 6 tablespoons of mayonnaise, 2 tablespoons of Creole mustard. I prefer Zatarain's. And what we're going to do is we're going to take about 2 tablespoons of finely minced jalapeno. And that could be a half a jalapeno. Mince it up very, very fine. Going to set the eggs in a pan big enough to hold them in one layer, cover with water, and slide the pan over your high flame. Bring to a boil and pull off the heat. Cover and let them sit for about 12 minutes. That's how I like to boil my eggs. It's a proven method. From here, we're going to pull off the hot water. We're going to run cold water over them to chill them. We're going to peel them, and we're going to cut them in half lengthwise. We're going to scoop out our yolks, and then what we're going to do is we're going to save the whites and take those yolks and transfer those into a bowl. You mash up those yolks with a fork. Add the mayonnaise, the mustard, the jalapeno, some salt and pepper. Mix it all together and give it a taste. And then mound that back into the whites. And then you can garnish that with some minced up chives or sprinkle your own favorite rub on there. And you got a platter of Cajun deviled eggs that you're just going to watch disappear. I really think that with the shrimp and with the Creole deviled eggs, you've got 2 things that are going to go really great at your tailgate. For these recipes, check out our Facebook page, which is Tailgate Grilling with Sizzle and Scotty. Give us a like and tell us what you'd like to hear on an upcoming show. Taylor, back to you.
Thank you so much, Scotty. And as always, a little bit of entertainment there in our Skype feed. And if you're lucky, maybe I'll share that with you guys later. But our roundtable today is it's kind of racing related, but it's more about being a lady and being ladylike. And Krista, this all started earlier today when you shared a video with me about basically not acting like a lady. Explain.
Okay, so you guys know that we all love a little bit of internet humor to get through our day. Well, I found this one compilation video that was kind of humoring the fact that, not all of us girls are, properly bred into being ladylike. And, some of us, no matter how hard we try, it's just awkward. So, Diana and Taylor and I thought it would be interesting to put a little spin on that of our own and ask, what is it like to be ladylike at the track? Does it help us or does it hurt us, or do people just think we're friggin' nuts?
I'm going to go with the last one.
But people think we're nuts anyway. Us three, come on, it's fair game.
After all the looks we got this past weekend at Maple Grove, yeah, they think we're crazy.
Well, those epic derp faces you made, how could they not?
Next subject. Diana, what do you think?
Wow. Yeah, okay, let me start here. So you guys are saying that you guys did some fun off-the-wall stuff and you got some crazy looks. Now, would you have still gotten those crazy looks if you were guys?
I think guys do crazy stuff all the time, so I don't.
Okay.
Well, no offense, but how often do I really see guys at the racetrack trying to take selfies?
True.
Give them some credit where credit's due.
Okay. Well, okay. So there's still some possible double standards there, and I think that definitely goes along with how you act. There are some ladies at the track who act like ladies, but I know in my nature, especially being here in Texas, I'm not viewed on as someone who has those qualities or practices abundance of grace, or gracefulness for that matter. So yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I don't think I can. I don't think it's possible. It's not in my DNA. I wish it were sometimes.
So one of our social media personnel here at the studio had posted a picture on our Facebook page basically about not being a woman because we don't do such whatever. And I think we all kind of fit that description. And some of the things on the video Krista showed this morning were like, we don't paint our fingernails very well. We don't really use a whole lot of makeup. We don't wear dresses. Like, we feel very uncomfortable in them. But, I've seen Krista in a dress. She looks great. And
yes, she does.
I'm sure she knows how to handle her dress. She also wears makeup.
I sure do know how to handle my dress.
And, I have to mention here, Dina Parisi, who's been on the show many, many times, is one badass woman drag racer, okay? And she wears makeup. She does her hair before every event, in the morning. And she still kicks ass, and guys stand back and watch her because she's that amazing, So, I don't know. I think you can be ladylike at the track and still get respect. But I also think you can't go to the track looking like a slut bag, or you're going to get treated like a slut bag.
Okay, let me change this up for a second, though, because my first thought when I saw that and I was relating this to racing was, are you going to act like a professional woman, or are you going to stand there and, scratch or snatch all day? Or, or are you going to spout F-bombs off like we so often do, unfortunately? Or are you going to, mind your manners because you are comfortable with your abilities and you don't feel like, you have to act like a hard ass in order to, have the guys respect you. And that's the take that I really had on it.
On that note, I would come back with, I am who I am 100% of the time. I'm not going to change it just because I want to hang out with the guys or, hang out with the girls. My friends that are girls know that I'm tough and I curse and I burp and I whatever else, and the guys know the same, and I get respect from everyone, and I think it's because I am who I am. And I think, Krista, you're kind of in the same boat there.
You know what? Being raised by a single father, and he's a professional. He's a director at his job. Has been an upper management professional for many years. I was taught the correct ways to act, but unfortunately, he wasn't around a lot working. And when you get thrown into the racetrack and the racing scene with a bunch of guys who, kind of balls to the wall and are comfortable enough to let it all out, it does suck you in. I mean, this is a mild show, but the amount of F-bombs that I spout off at a normal track outing, I mean, you probably can't even quantify that on a calculator. It's out of control. But, I've always been a very forward person. I've always been kind of a hard person. And I think that you have to stand your ground as a woman at the racetrack. And, if you go out there and act all like flirty and tee-hee and whatnot, nobody's going to respect you. You really, act like a person. But do I feel the need to act more ladylike at the track? No, I would say that I feel the need to act as professional as possible to represent who I need to represent. And that's all there is to it.
I agree, Krista. Absolutely. And yeah, I thought the same thing. I thought it was about attitude as well. So I apologize. But, I'm glad that we're covering the full spectrum, because it definitely, it is. It's, from how do you dress to how do you act. And honestly, I do act different when I'm around the guys, especially if I feel like I can put my hair down. I kind of do tend to let the four-letter words fly a little bit more freely. But that's also me feeling more relaxed, and more so just being able to shoot the shit if I want to. Unfortunately, most women can't do that, because they'd rather talk about their kids or whatever, which is cool. But that's not who I am. So whether I get to talk to guys or girls about racing, I feel like I can really be my true self when I'm in that element.
All right. Unfortunately, we have to wrap it up here, ladies. Final thoughts. Do we have to be ladylike at the track? Krista?
I feel like we don't have to go out of our way to be ladylike as long as we conduct ourselves professionally.
Diana?
What she said.
Okay. And
I'm always right. That's why.
There we go. I think that just proves this whole discussion. All right. I say, be yourself. It doesn't matter who you want to be like. Don't act like anybody else other than yourself. Yes, be professional. Don't be a slut bag, and be yourself.
Slut bag.
All right. That's a wrap for this week's edition of the Heels on Wheels radio program. We'll be back next week with even more amazing guests. Thanks to our wonderful guests this week, journalist, racer, reporter, and much, much more, Denise McCluggage. For more tailgating recipes, like Chef Sizzle and Scotty's Facebook page, facebook.com/tailgategrillin with Sizzle and Scotty. You can follow us on Twitter at PMNHeelsWheels and like us on Facebook, Heels on Wheels radio program. Our hosts have been Krista Elise, Diana Clausen, and myself, Taylor Hyatt. Thanks to our wonderful, wonderful production engineer and programming consultant, Bob Steele. Thanks for listening. Now let's go racing.
Heels on Wheels is a copyrighted production of www.performancemotorsportsnetwork.com, a member of the Scorpion Radio Group, Incorporated, and may not be rebroadcast, replicated, or saved in any media without the explicit written permission of PMN. Check out our Facebook page, Heels on Wheels Radio Show, or our section on the PMN website. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect those of the management and ownership of either PMN or Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated. Be listening next week as the fastest women on the planet rev it up and talk racing.